Welcome back. Mysterious drones continue to fly over New York and New Jersey with few answers coming from the Biden administration. How is it possible that the Pentagon doesn't know? I'm not buying it. Local government officials continue to evade answers as far as the origin of these drones. They're being compared to the Chinese spy balloon that flew across the entire country last year. Meanwhile, a Chinese citizen living in Los Angeles is under arrest this morning for allegedly using a drone to take images of Vandenberg Space Force Base in Santa Barbara County. Joining me now is Gatestone Institute senior fellow and the author of Plan Red, China's Project to Destroy America, Gordon Chang, back with us. Gordon, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. What is your reaction to these drones? Do you think these drones are Chinese drones surveilling America?
These drones and this activity is too large, too well organized to be the work of lobbyists. And that sort of leaves foreign powers. And it could be Iran in connection with China. But clearly somebody is trying to absorb our attention. And Maria, the thing that really worries me is that if they're trying to draw our attention to these drones, the question is, what are they doing elsewhere in our country? So we could very well get hit. And by the way, I don't think that Chinese national should be put through the civilian justice system. This was a military violation. Person should be in a military brig because clearly the civilian system can't process these people properly and quickly enough, and we need to take them off the streets.
Well, I mean, this has been weeks. You know, at this point, it's really not right that the Pentagon has not given us more information as far as these drones are concerned. Of course, everyone's going to just start speculating. We need some real answers from the Pentagon to really understand what's going on. I mean, the fact that China is surveilling America is not a secret. Everyone knows that that the surveillance programs are in place, and they're once again around our military bases. But we're not getting any answers from anybody. Meanwhile, President-elect Trump reportedly inviting Chinese President Xi Jinping to attend his inauguration next month. This is according to CBS. Trump invited Xi back in early November, right after the election. This invitation comes as trade tensions intensify between the U.S. and China over proposed tariffs. The move would place a 25% tariff on Canadian and Mexican goods, plus an additional 10% tariff on imports from China. Xi Jinping has warned the U.S. against renewing a trade war, saying that there will be, quote, no winners. Chinese authorities are considering a weaker yuan heading into 2025. Beijing says it's even willing to plunge deeper into debt and use stimulus needed to counter Trump's plans, Gordon. So you've got a lot of conversations, economic conversations underway between China and the United States. And yet it's all in the face of these surveillance programs in our face. Your thoughts on President Trump inviting Xi Jinping to the inauguration? And, you know, you don't know where Trump, nobody knows where Trump is in terms of all of these issues. I mean, he's tough on things like tariffs, and then he invites Xi to the inauguration. I think that's all by design. What do you think?
It probably is. But remember, this is a Xi Jinping who deliberately spread COVID-19 beyond China's borders, killing 1.2 million Americans. This is a Xi Jinping who each year, with malice aforethought, kills 70,000 Americans with fentanyl. This is a Xi Jinping who runs a regime that steals $500 billion of U.S. intellectual property each year. This is a Xi Jinping who flew that spy balloon over our country last year, over our nuclear weapons sites. The question that I'd like to ask is, regardless of what Trump's strategy is, why should we invite such an individual to the inauguration?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. I mean, we haven't gotten a comment from President Trump on why he extended this invitation, but we know that China is ramping up its war on the United States. I mean, certainly semiconductors, he's taking aim at NVIDIA. Beijing launched an antitrust probe into the U.S. chip maker just 1 week after Washington curbed China's access to high-end semiconductors, Gordon. Look, they make chips in Taiwan. Is that why China is doing what it's doing? Your reaction?
Well, first of all, you know, with the attack on NVIDIA, really this shows that there's no rule of law in China. They're just doing this in retaliation for what they don't like that Trump might do to them. You know, so clearly, you know, the Chinese, they complain about decoupling. Well, the point is that countries and companies are leaving China because of what China is doing. There is a sustained assault on American and other foreign companies. And these companies need to get out of there for many reasons. And one of them is that China is determined to destroy their businesses.
Yeah, and I think, people understand the CCP tactics. You wrote an op-ed this week where you say China is targeting Morocco to control the Mediterranean and global trade. Break that down for us, because I don't know that people understand the tactics used globally to corner markets that the CCP does.
Yeah, Morocco is a trade bridge connecting 3 continents. It has the only U.S. free trade agreement with an African nation. It is a member of a EU trade agreement and part of an African trade federation. So clearly it is very important for Xi Jinping, who needs to export more to the world. And he can do that by getting inside Morocco and thereby avoiding the tariffs that Trump is talking about imposing on Chinese goods that come directly from China. So Morocco is critically important for us. It is the first country in the world to extend diplomatic recognition to the U.S. Trump had great foreign policy in his first term in trying to work with Morocco. So I think that we can counter what China is doing. But the other thing is that Xi Jinping is in Morocco because he wants to help Iran close off the Mediterranean Sea, and we should not be allowing him to do that. So I hope that Trump puts Morocco at the top of the agenda in his first term.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll see how this relationship plays out. But most people, including Christopher Wray, who's now resigning, will tell you that China is our #1 adversary. I think Trump knows that, and that first dinner that he had with Xi Jinping years ago at Mar-a-Lago, he dropped that news that they were sending 13 strikes to Syria, and that was also by design. He did it during dinner and chocolate cake, so maybe that's also part of his thinking in terms of inviting Xi to the inauguration. Starting soft and nice, but then dropping the news of sanctions or more tariffs.
Well, you mentioned Syria, and in the Middle East, the perception is that Trump really is trying to make nice to both the Russians and the Chinese because he wants to make a deal instead of confronting them. And it's not playing very well in the region. So I hope that the region's got this wrong. But we've got a problem in the Middle East because of Trump's outreach to China and Russia.
All right. We will be watching that angle for sure. Gordon, thank you. Gordon Chang joining us.